What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to dip your wheels to give you a whole new look. If you needed any parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. Alright, now I'm going to prep this wheel because I want to dip it. I took the wheel off the vehicle for this one. You can leave it on the vehicle, but you need to make sure that you cover up the brakes. And I'll show you how to do that for another one. At this point, because the tire is right up close to the wheel, what I'm going to do is take the valve core out. I'm just going to use a valve core remover. Take the air out of the tire. That's going to give me a little bit more of a gap between the wheel and the tire. Okay, so this is deflated. I can put the valve core back in, tighten it up, and I'll put the cap back on. And the tire, there's a little bit more of a gap around the rim, which is good. So next, what I want to do is I just want to clean the outer area of the tire. I cleaned the rim already, and use soapy water and make sure it's dry. I am going to use some of this tire shine stuff that cleans the tire just on the outside. I don't want to go up to the rim because if I get any of this stuff on the rim, then it's going to cause the dip not to stick very well. This will just make it easier to peel off afterwards. All right, so what you could do is you could dip the tire just like this, the rim like this, and then peel it off the tire afterwards. Sometimes that's kind of a pain. What I like to use is note cards and stick them around the tire, or you can use these little sticky notes and stick these around the tire. Seems like it's kind of a pain, but it'll actually make it a lot easier afterwards when you do this, and they stick to each other, which is good. So just go around the tire. All right, that's all the way around. Next, before I do anything else, I want to tape up the lug nut holes. I don't want to get any of the dip on the holes because when you reinstall the lug nuts, the dip is going to raise the lug nut up and it's not going to torque properly. So just tape up the holes. It doesn't have to be pretty. The lug nuts are going to cover it up. If you wanted it to be pretty, you could cut these in perfect circles and do it that way, but you're not going to see it, so I'll just tape it up. All right, now I'm going to shake up the can and follow the directions on the can. A lot of these are a little bit different, and I'm just going to paint up the areas on the insides of here that's a little bit more tricky to get to, and then I'll build up and then finish up top. I'm just going to do a light coat, like extremely light, and just build up. This stuff is very forgiving, so it's actually very easy to work with. I just did all that area right there. If you wanted to tape up the emblem, you could. Or you can always trim it with a razor blade and peel it off after. Just go through. Make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. And don't put too much on the first couple coats because you don't want it to drip. Although if it does drip, don't get nervous. You don't have to do anything crazy. This is a little bit different than paint. You could actually wipe it and give it a couple more coats and it'll be fine. So that's my first coat. It still looks a little bit thin, but I'm gonna let that dry for about 15 to 20 minutes and then give it another coat. Now I'm gonna do my second coat. This coat is dry, so we can give it another coat. We'll just go around again. All the harder to reach areas first. Then I'll just go around, do the easier stuff. Now this coat you can put on a little bit thicker. You don't have to worry as much. And then the next coat, put on even thicker than that. All right, so that looks pretty good. It's pretty thick. I'll let that dry and then give it another coat. All right, so I did about 4 coats for that. Generally it takes about 1 can per wheel. So that came out pretty good. We could leave it like that, but I'm actually gonna use some clear on it to make it a little bit shiny. This is just a personal preference, doesn't matter. I'm gonna do the same procedure on this, do about 2 or 3 coats with this, and do the same on the other wheels. All right, so this is dry. It looks great. We did do a couple coats of clear on top of the regular so it would shine a little bit. So now that it's dry, I can pull these sticky notes out. Look at that, it comes out in one piece. And I didn't even get any on the tire, so that's good. I don't have to peel that. So I can just inflate the tire at this point. All right, now I'm gonna use a pick and just take the tape off of where the lug nuts go. I can reinstall it on the truck. If you don't want to remove the wheel, you can leave it on your vehicle, but be sure to cover up the brakes and perform the same steps as you would on the ground. Be sure to remove covered up areas, especially on the brakes. So there it is, it's done. Came out awesome. It's a whole new look for the truck. It takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, but it's a lot cheaper than replacing the wheels, and it'll give you a whole new look.
Thanks for watching. Visit oneauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.